G'day, welcome back to another one of my blogs. My name's Jesse, I'm an INFJ, and today I'm going to talk about the 4 cognitive functions. I see a lot of people talking a little bit about these. Some people sort of getting it right, some people half getting it right, some people not knowing what they're talking about, just reading and then re-saying the information but not really understanding them. So I thought I'd just give a quick breakdown on the 4 cognitive functions and how they relate to MBTI, and the fact that MBTI stands on the cognitive functions. And excuse me, MBTI, there's a lot of holes in its explanation, and it's a very watered down, dumbed down version of Jungian psychology. And if you can get your head around this, you will understand your type a hell of a lot better. And if you're mistyped, this will show you that you're mistyped. And if you're correctly typed, everything will make perfect sense. The 4 main functions of your conscious mind, Jung proposed in his book Psychological Types, and it's how we interact with the world. There's sensation, intuition, thinking, and feeling. And what he's done is with those 4 things, is I've been able to quantify how we all use them in different ways and in what order. So I'll break down those functions. Sensing is obviously it's physical. Think of your senses, and that's what that relates to and how you interact with the world. That I don't think that requires a lot of explanation. Intuition. A lot of people don't really understand what intuition is or can't actually put an explanation on intuition. You should think of intuition as an instantaneous cross-referencing of data in your head. And there's a lot of evolutionary intuition, like you see a snake and you go, snake bad, need to leave. Or you see a big black spider and you go, spider bad, because thousands of years of being bitten by snakes and spiders, we have this data in our collections unconscious. That's another Jungian psychology thing. But this more specifically refers to our personal data that we've collated over the course of our life. So intuition is cross-referencing of all of our memories. Thinking, that's just logic. So it's the logic center of our mind. We weigh up things with logic. I can't explain that any better either. And feeling is our emotional response and how we emotionally interact with the world. And that can also factor in morals as well. And so the MBTI test throws a bunch of questions at you that evoke responses relating to those functions. And while you're filling out an MBTI test, say online, imagine there's a spreadsheet filling up of how many times you're using each specific function to answer a question. And then it arranges them in the order of how you're using them, and then assigns you your letters that very loosely define your personality. I actually skipped over a little bit. With the 4 functions, we also have 2 attitudes towards how we use those functions, which are extroversion and introversion. Sorry, I should have said that. Didn't mean to skip over that. But so just using introversion or extroversion on a certain function doesn't mean you're introverted or extroverted. Being an INFJ does not mean you're an introvert. It just means your primary function, the attitude you have towards it, is introverted. Anyway, so the order of the functions is your primary, secondary, tertiary, and inferior. I like to use the car analogy. So you've got your driver, your navigator, your child, and your teenager. Imagine a typical family in a car. And that's the order that if when you do your MBTI test and you get your letters and then you find out your functions, that is how you're going about your life. Your consciousness has a driver, a navigator, a child, and a teenager in the car. So take the INFJ, for example. Our driver is introverted intuition. Our navigator is extroverted feeling. Our child is introverted thinking. And our teenager is extroverted sensing. And so introverted intuition, so our driver of the car, your main function of your consciousness is cross-referencing our internal data, where we join dots, we draw maps in our mind. That's how we go about day-to-day life. We see the forest, we don't see the trees, we see the big picture, we miss a lot of the little details. Extroverted feeling is our navigator. So extroverted feeling is our attitude towards other people's emotions and morals, and we compartmentalize our own emotions. We're much more focused on how everyone else feels and how everyone else is coping emotionally. We don't really take much care of ourselves. We're not whiny, emotional bitches like other personality types, but we are needy bitches. But that's a different thing. Introverted thinking. So that's our logic function runs internally on our own data and actually excludes external data, and we are known for truth spewing. It's our truth, not other people's truth, but that's where we get our unsolicited advice giving, is from our child function, because the child in the backseat of the car, if they have something to say that's matter of fact, they're just going to say it, or if they work something out, they're just going to say it. So, and then we've got extroverted sensing, which is our inferior function, our teenager in the car. And extroverted sensing is how we go about navigating physical and technical abilities, as INFJs are naturally clumsy but are naturally fast learners at physical things. Like, think about how long it took you to learn how to ride a bike when you were young. It probably did not take you very long at all. We're very fast learners. Like a teenager, the teenage mind is very malleable and developmental. So think of the teenager in the car, our extroverted sensing. When we want to learn something physical or technical, if we apply the effort and do it properly, it's we can achieve very high technical mastery in things. But if we're discouraged, we very quickly can disregard wanting to do things, and we can just write physical things off very quickly. I know a lot of INFJs are very don't like doing physical things because we think it's going to be hard for some reason, because it's our inferior function. Anyway, video's gone too long. I've started to ramble. Maybe only pay attention to the first 6 minutes of this video, really. So those are the 4 main cognitive functions, and that is how we go about and navigate our world. So ignore introverted, intuitive, feeling, judging. Ignore those words. Remember introverted intuition, extroverted feeling, introverted thinking, and extroverted sensing. That is how we live our lives, not the label of INFJ. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.